Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ma'am Ellen. I am Jeric Ramos and I currently taking up Master of Arts in Psychology. And I am the today's presenter. So my topic is about psychological foundation of education and I focused on the learners. To formally start our discussion, let me first introduce you to our objectives. So we have only two objectives for today's video. And our first objective, we will be discussing the different types of learners based on Fleming-Varks model. And the second objective is we will be synthesizing Fleming's Vark model to other related studies such as the study of the American developmental psychologist Robert Sternberg. But before we discuss the Varks model of learners, let me first discuss to you the importance for us teachers to know our students. It is very crucial for us to deeply know what kind of students we have in a classroom. We all know that we handled many students and those students are different in characteristics, different in personality, different in the way they think. Thus, the way they learn is also varies depending on their interests. Speaking of their interest, sobrang halaga sa atin na malaman kung ano yung interest ng mga bata dahil doon sa interest na yon, doon sila mas madaling makakakuha ng knowledge. Doon sila mas madaling makaka-adapt sa lessons kapag yung interest nila ay isinabay natin sa kung paano tayo magtuturo or kung paano natin i-deliver yung lesson natin. For example, yung isang bata ay mas natututo siya kapag ginagawa niya sa actual or ina-apply niya sa actual yung lesson na itinuturo ng teacher. Yung iba naman, may mga bata na mas natututo sila kapag nagpe-present ng materials yung teacher sa harapan, like panonood ng short clips, magpapakita ng mga diagrams and maps for an example. So doon mas madaling nakatututo yung mga bata. And sabi nga ng isang American author and specialist learner, ang bawat different subjects ay nangangailangan ng different methods. At ang bawat methods na yun ay kinakailangan natin na isinasaalang-alang yung interest ng bata. Actually, sa college, dahil college yung tinuturo ko, mostly yung mga subjects na tinuturo ko ay nangangailangan ng feedback mula sa students. That is why habang nagdi-discuss ako, so I do Socratic method. I am questioning them and I am answering their query para sa gayon nalalaman ko, namomonitor ko kung nakikinig ba yung bata, kung totoo bang natututo siya sa mga subjects or lessons na aming i-discuss. And one thing I noticed doing Socratic method, may mga bata talaga na wala yung interest nila doon dahil probably hindi sila sanay nang nakikipag-usap sa teacher or hindi sila namulat sa ganong uri ng discussions. Mawawala talaga yung interest nila sa discussion. Hindi siguro dahil hindi nila alam yung sagot, pero nakikita ko sa kanila, naiilang sila na kapag teacher na yung nagtatanong at yung teacher yung gusto makipag-usap sa kanila regarding the topic. So ang ginagawa ko, medyo binabago ko yung strategy. Nagbibigay ako ng mga real life scenario na nag-a-apply doon sa aming lesson. At sobrang effective na method yun na nagbibigay ako ng mga real life scenario dahil ang subject ko nga na tinuturo ay social science. So, mas nakikita ko na nagkakaroon sila ng interest kapag nagbibigay ako ng mga real life scenario or real life situation na nangyayari sa lipunan. So that is meant to be knowing their interest. Kapag nakuha mo yung interest ng bata sa kung paano sila mas madaling matututo or sa kung paano sila mas makukuha nila yung lessons, dapat alam natin yung interest nila at ibinabagay natin yung teaching style natin sa kung ano yung interest ng mga bata. Pangalawa sa na-notice ko sa mga students ko sa college dito sa AU, na kapag nagkakaroon kami ng group activity, especially when it comes to discussions, I will give certain scenario na pag-uusap-usapan nila or a certain concept na pag-uusap-usapan nila. Mas collaborative sila kapag sila yung nagpapalitan ng discussions. So kaya that is why I noticed when the teachers is the one who is asking, that is one who wants to talk with them, hindi dahil hindi nila alam yung sagot, kundi dahil naiilan sila sa teacher. And hindi kasi sila namulat na nakikipag-usap sa teachers. So, ayun nga, naisip ko na magkaroon sila ng group activity and group discussions. So, kapag sa group discussion, doon sila mas nagiging open sa opinion nila, doon sila mas nagiging open sa kung ano yung take nila doon sa concept or scenario na ibinigay ko. Having said, Socratic method is just one among the other methods that we can apply for our learners. Especially in my case, they prefer much on the discussion between me and them, and much preferably when they are discussing with their group mates or with their classmates. Since it is now all clear how important for us teachers to know our students, especially their interest, and how can they best learn the lesson. So we will now move on to our main discussion, which is the Varks model, which was introduced by Neil Fleming. Okay, Varks model is an acronym for the different types of learners, mainly the visual, the auditory, the reading and writing, and lastly is the kinesthetic. So then, what kinds of learners our student belong? Is there under the visual learners, the auditory learners, the reading and writing learners, or and the kinesthetics? Dito natin malalaman. Okay? Kung ang estudyante natin ay mas natututo, kung mas may nakikita silang mga images, kung may napapanood silang mga short clips, kung may nakikita silang diagrams, or any kinds of graphic na nagre-reflect sa ating lesson, then sila ay tinatawag na visual learners. Pangalawa naman, kung ang estudyante natin ay mas natututo kapag yung lesson ay may musika, or kapag mas prefer nila na inaawit or nilalagyan ng rhymes para mas madali nila makabisado or para mas madali nila matandaan, then they are auditory. At kung prefer din nila na ang discussions at nakikipag-usap sa kanilang groupmates or sa kanilang teachers, then they are auditory. From the word auditory, they are using their ears or listening skill para ma-acquire yung kinakailangan na knowledge in a particular lesson. Pangatlo, they are considered as reading and writing learners kung mas prefer nila na nagbabasa at nagsusulat. Okay? So, for an example, yung bata during the discussion ay nagtitake down notes, or kapag nagbabasa siya ng additional readings or additional resources para ma-supplement ang kanyang knowledge, then siya ay nasa under ng reading and writing skills. We can also consider the reading and writing learners as the critical one, because
hindi lang sila basta kapag nakarinig ng isang knowledge ay ina-absorb na nila yun agad. So, they prefer na nagbabasa talaga as much as possible ng mga related materials doon sa discussions. And they are using their writing skills para mas memorize at mas maging familiar doon sa lesson na kanilang itinatalakay or itinalakay during the discussion. And lastly, the kinesthetics. Ang mga kinesthetic learners ay mas natututo kapag yung concept ng isang lesson ay naia-apply nila sa totoong buhay. Let's say for example, yung tinatawag nating role-playing, yung mga bata, mas natututo sila kapag nakikita nila or ina-apply nila sa kanilang sarili yung lessons na itinuro. Another evident example of kinesthetic learners is in the field of medicine. So, the students in medicine, especially for example, nurses, they can easily understand the lesson kung meron silang actual experiences. Like for example, kung paano ang tamang pag-revive ng patient na nalunod through mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. So, mas malalaman nila ang tamang pamamaraan kung meron silang actual experience dito. At ganun din ang tinutukoy ni Dr. Barbara Hong, an author and American learning specialist. Sabi niya na in learning different subjects can call for a wide range of methods. Kung sa mga student ng nursing ay may kailangan nilang ng may actual experience para mas madaling matutunan ang lessons, sa mga nag-aaral naman ng history, kailangan nila ng mga graphics or images or maps na nagpapakita ng kanilang pinag-aaralan. So, mas madali sa kanila yon sa mga history major na may nakikita silang charts, may nakikita silang maps, or may mga napapanood silang footage para mas maintindihan nila ang kanilang pinag-aaralan or ang kanilang field of study. Okay, so in college, mas madali kasing matukoy kung saan mas matututo ang mga bata based sa kung ano yung field na kanilang tinatahak. So, it is much very different sa mga elementary. Mas mahirap para sa mga elementary teachers na alamin kung saan mas matututo ang mga bata dahil alam naman natin kapag bata ang tinuturuan, ang kanilang span of attention ay sobrang ikli lang. Madali silang ma-distract. So, mas nag-struggle talaga yung mga elementary teacher dahil mahirap talagang kunin yung interest ng mga bata at alamin kung saan sila mas matututo. So, it is a big leap para sa mga teachers, especially sa elementary, na meron tayong VARKS model na pwedeng pagbasehan sa kung anong uri ng learners ang ating mga estudyante. So, gaya nga ng sinabi ko, kung yung mga estudyante natin ay mas natututo through images, graphics, then they are visual. At kung mas natututo sila through recordings or discussion or some sorts of tones, music, then they are auditory. At kapag mas natututo naman sila through reading and writing. And lastly, kung mas natututo ba sila kapag merong application in real life yung kanilang pinag-aaralan. And that's it. The four main types of learners according to VARKS model, which was proposed by Neil Fleming on 1987. Now, let's synthesize and analyze VARKS model with other related studies, such as yung study ni Robert Sternberg. First, sino nga ba si Robert Sternberg? So, si Robert Sternberg ay isang kilala na American developmental psychologist. And according to his research, he found out and he believes that humans are excel in one of three intellects. And he categorized these three intellects into practical intelligence, creative intelligence, and analytical intelligence. Practical intelligence is much more related to the kinesthetic learners. So, gaya na sinabi natin, yung mga kinesthetic learners ay mas natututo kung there is an application in real life, kung meron silang mga actual experience. At ganoon din ang sa practical intelligence. Yung mga student dito ay natututo kung merong involvement ng task, kung mas nagagamit nila ang kanilang physical na pangangatawan or physical na kakayahan into doing things, then mas natututo sila. While in creative intelligence, the students here are imaginative, innovative, and mas gusto nila nagde-develop ng new ideas. And halos ito yung mga estudyante na nagtatanong ng mga provoking questions dahil nga they are curious about what they are hearing sa discussions at mas nagiging involved sila sa classroom discussions by asking and answering queries by their teachers or their co-classmates. So, creative intelligence can be understood and relates to our kinds of learners, which are the auditory. Dahil sa auditory nga, gaya ng sinabi natin, mas natututo yung bata kapag may involvement ng discussions, may involvement ng questioning and answering, at merong classroom or group participation. Okay, lastly, the analytical intelligence. So, ang ating mga estudyante na mas natututo sa pagbabasa at pagsusulat, gayon din sa panonood ng visual, pagtingin sa mga graphics, pagdating sa mga tables, ay magfa-fall under the analytical intelligence dahil sila ay nagiging mas critical at analytical sa kanilang mga napapanood, sa kanilang mga binabasa, sa kanilang mga nakikita na graphics. So, hindi sila agad-agad yung mga types ng learners na ina-absorb yung mga nabasa or mga nakita. So, they tend to be more critical and analytical sa mga information. So, gaya nga nasabi natin, as much as possible, gustong-gusto nilang nagbabasa ng iba't ibang resources para mas mapatunayan nila or maniwala sila doon sa kanilang binabasa or panonood or narinig mula sa teacher. So that is analytical intelligence, and they are reading and writing learners as well as visual learners. So that's it, the 3 types of intelligence according to Robert Sternberg, and how are they related sa mga iba't ibang uri ng learners na pinropose ni Neil Fleming sa kanyang VARKS model. And doon sa mga paraan na yon, doon natin mas malalaman, doon natin mas makikita at makikilala kung ano yung uri ng learners, yung mga estudyante natin. At doon mas makakahanap tayo, makakita tayo ng mas applicable or appropriate na paraan ng pagtuturo sa kanila para mas madali nilang maintindihan ang ating lesson. That's it for my discussion about the learners. So, I hope everything, ma'am and sir, I hope everything is clear. But if you have clarification about the discussion, you can raise your hand here after the discussion. So, to formally end, here's a supplemental video for us to have a better understanding or deeper understanding pa sa ating lesson, which is all about the learners. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ma'am Ellen, and I hope you like the video.